Good morning. Today we are going to learn about how authors use precise words to show us what is happening in a story. Listen to these two stories and decide which story gives you a clearer picture, story 1 or story 2. Here is story 1. You're at the park. It is a nice day. You're playing with your friend. You get hungry. The two of you eat ice cream. Could you see that story clearly? Here is story 2. You're at a water park. The sun is shining so brightly that you are dripping with sweat. You and your friend are sitting on top of the biggest water slide in the whole park. All of a sudden, you two swoosh down the curvy tunnels until you make an enormous splash into the pool. Cowabunga! You both scream. Then you hear your stomach grumbling. It's time for a snack, you say as you pull your friend's arm and head to the ice cream stand. The two of you sit down and share a triple chocolate ice cream sundae with whipped cream and cherry on top. Before you know it, there's chocolate ice cream all over your face. Yum! So think for a minute. Which story had a clearer picture? Story 1 or story 2? If you thought that story 2 had a clearer picture, then you are right. Story 2 gives a clearer picture because the author used a lot of words to craft and paint the pictures that they wanted the reader to see. Today, I want to teach you that the authors of series use not just any words, but precise words to create really clear pictures in their reader's mind. Readers need to pay close attention to the words that authors chose to know exactly what is happening and how things are happening in the story. Let's look at the words that Arnold Lobel chose to help us think about what is happening in the beginning of the story alone. As I read, think about any words you hear that are chosen to show not only what is happening, but how. Toad went to Frog's house. He found a note on the door. The note said, "Dear Toad, I am not at home. I went out. I want to be alone." "Alone?" said Toad. "Frog has me for a friend. Why does he want to be alone?" Toad looked through the windows. He looked in the garden. He did not see Frog. Toad went to the woods. Frog was not there. He went to the meadow. Frog was not there. Toad went down to the river. There was Frog. He was sitting on an island by himself. "Poor Frog," said Toad. "He must be very sad. I will cheer him up." Toad ran home. He made sandwiches. He made a pitcher of iced tea. He put everything in a basket. Toad hurried back to the river. "Frog!" he shouted. "It's me. It's your best friend, Toad." Frog was too far away to hear. Toad took off his jacket and waved it like a flag. Frog was too far away to see. Toad shouted and waved, but it was no use. Frog sat on the island. He did not see or hear Toad. Did you see how Arnold Lobel chose the word shouted instead of said? He said, "Frog," he shouted, "it's me." He could have easily said, but he chose to use the word shouted to show how Frog talked to Toad. Let's take a look at the story from the beginning of the lesson. Let's reread it, and I want you to be on the alert for precise words. If you see a word that really helps to show more, write it down or remember it to see if you match what I think at the end. You're at a water park. The sun is shining so brightly that you are dripping with sweat. You and your friend are sitting on top of the biggest water slide in the whole park. All of a sudden, the two of you swoosh down the curvy tunnels until you make an enormous splash into the pool. "Cowabunga!" you both scream. Then you hear your stomach grumbling. "It's time for a snack," you say as you pull your friend's arm and head to the ice cream stand. The two of you sit down to share a triple chocolate ice cream sundae with whipped cream and cherry on top. Before you know it, there's chocolate ice cream all over your face. Yum! What precise words did you notice? Think for a minute. I noticed that the author used the word dripping to show that not only are they really hot, they're sweating, but you are sweating a lot. I also noticed the words swish and curvy to show how the children went down the slide. I also noticed the word scream to show that the children were really excited when they went down and made the enormous splash into the pool. As you go off to read your books today, I want you to notice what precise words that the author uses to describe how things are happening. There are two strategies that you can use. You can notice how the author helps create vivid pictures in your mind, or you can use the author's precise words to understand the story better. Today, you're going to read from your own book and tell us about precise words that your author uses to help describe how things are happening using the two strategies that we have talked about today. Off you go!